Daytona Beach, Florida isn't just spring break and NASCAR. It is one of Florida's most affordable beach towns, but living here full time, that's a completely different story. In today's video, we're gonna be breaking down the real pros and cons of living in Daytona Beach, Florida. We're gonna be going over everything from the low costs of coastal living to the year-round sunshine, from tourist overload to unpredictable weather. And we're also gonna go over some varying neighborhoods that vary greatly in vibe and value. So if you are looking to be moving or have been considering to move to Daytona Beach, Florida, this video is gonna give you a pretty clear picture on what you can expect from the good, bad, and everything in between. And if this is your first time to the channel, welcome. You've made it to the original Living in New Smyrna Beach YouTube channel. Myself and business partner Tim have been helping people buy, sell, and invest in the area for over a decade. If there's anything we can do to help out for you or your family, please reach out to us. All of our info is below. So let's get to it. So I want to start out with a con first, because this may be an immediate deal breaker for you. And I don't want you to wait till the very end of the video to realize, this just isn't for me. So we'll let you off the hook early if Daytona Beach isn't going to be for you. And the first con is going to be tourism traffic. So almost everybody has heard of Daytona Beach, Florida in some capacity. We are home to NASCAR, but there is also a plethora of other events that are taking place in Daytona Beach. So you can think peak season slowly begins to get kicked off in February. That's going to be the kickoff of the Rolex 24, which is going to be hosted at the Daytona International Speedway. That's when you have the exotic supercars come in. They have a different course track set up for them. And it's a 24-hour race that goes consecutively 24 hours in a row. So pretty big deal. That's going to be the start out. Then you are going to have that followed up by the Daytona 500. And after that, you have Daytona Beach Bike Week. And then after that, you have spring break. And then after that, you have summer break. And then coming around somewhere in August, you have the Coke Zero race, which is going to be another high spike in tourism. And followed by that, sometime in October, you have yet again another bike week event. It's not a true bike week. It's usually just like a Thursday to Sunday sort of thing. It's called Biketoberfest. And after that, Daytona Beach kind of slowly starts to slow down in the November-ish, but then you have the Turkey Rod Run, which is also going to be hosted at the Daytona Beach Speedway. It's a pretty cool car swap that happens, old classic car show, if you will. So point being, Daytona Beach stays pretty busy year round. So some people love the buzz, they love being in the thick of everything that's going on. And these events are just gonna be the major anchor events. There's also lots of other events in between all these. You've got cheerleading competitions, you've got Jeep Beach Week, and those are just to name a couple other big events, but Daytona Beach always has something going on. You can pretty much think to yourself, February to November are going to really be your busiest times. September, you've got a little bit of a break, but overall, February to November is going to stay pretty busy with just the different events that are happening. So your quick trip to the grocery store or whatever errands you need to run could turn into a slow 30-minute crawl. But there is a reason why people do live in Daytona Beach, and that is going to be the affordability aspect of it. So this is going to bring me to my first pro, and that is going to be the low cost of living in Daytona Beach. If you have been wanting to live the beach life on a budget, Daytona Beach really, truly is hard to beat. So right now, as of filming June 5th, 2025, the median sale price of a single family home in Daytona Beach, Florida is $332,000. But wait, there is more. So if you think you don't need the single family home, you just want a condo, you want to be able to have a turnkey, kind of come and go. The condos in Daytona Beach right now, same thing as of filming June 5th, 2025, are the median sale price for that is going to be $194,500. So I just think that it is so incredibly hard to beat the affordability of getting access to the beach lifestyle that Daytona Beach has to offer. I just don't think it can be matched anywhere else in Florida right now. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, please let me know in the comments below. But I do think Daytona Beach, Florida is probably the most affordable beach town to move to as of current. So I'd like to mention these stats. So the median sale prices did come directly from the Daytona Beach MLS. It's probably the most accurate source of information aside from going to, Realtor and Zillow. Going straight to the source, the Daytona MLS, is probably going to be your best bet. So we try to provide you the most accurate information when possible. But going back, I guess, to the pro of this and comparing this to other places, and I think of things like Tampa Bay, Naples, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, even New Smyrna Beach, which is just 20 minutes south of Daytona Beach. Nothing really compares to the affordability that Daytona has to offer. Being able to find a home that you can buy for $332,000, and that's the closed price. Is I don't know where you can beat that. So if you are a first-time home buyer, if you are transitioning from out of state into Daytona Beach and you're not really sure where you want to be, the affordability is there. Also, if you're an empty nester, you're retiring, the affordability overall in Daytona definitely, I would say, would be a huge pro. If we're talking about the cost of living overall, we're around the national average, maybe slightly below. Don't get me wrong, you can go to some tourist spots and spend $25 on a mediocre cheeseburger, but you can also find some good spots and spend less. So it just depends where you are and just kind of being savvy with that. So huge pro is going to be the affordability overall, just on the housing costs and just the cost of living. So with that though, the pro of living in Florida, that's a huge draw, the affordability. You do have to be prepared to deal with storms every year. So that's bringing me to my next con, is being hurricane or storm ready. All right, so with this con, I'm gonna just label it hurricane risk just for the sake of simplicity here. And we do get asked this question all the time, and that is, how often do we get hurricanes? We are on the east coast of Florida, the Atlantic Ocean. We are highly susceptible to hurricanes. Hurricane season is from June to November. We typically don't start really feeling the forces and the threats of hurricanes until mid-August, I would say, to September is probably our highest month, going into October. So really, to sum that up, mid-August to October is really going to be the height of our particular hurricane season, and that is just as of late. So I remember growing up here, and the question we'd ask ourselves every year was, are we gonna get a hurricane this year? And over the last 2 to 3 years, that question has changed to, how bad is a hurricane going to be this year? Because it seems like every year for the past 2 or 3 years, we inevitably have been getting hit with some sort of hurricane. It's not if we get one, it's just when we get one and how bad is it going to be. So with that being said, the things that you do to prepare for hurricanes here in Florida: you stock up on supplies, you watch the forecast, you know your evacuation route, and it really, that's all you can do. So it does become part of a natural routine for you. It just becomes part of life. And that is the toll you have to pay, I suppose, to live in one of Florida's most iconic beaches and have access to the beaches and the outdoors. So, talking about the outdoors, I'd like to go to another pro of living in Daytona Beach. This pro is probably my favorite pro aside to the affordability factor, and that is going to be your access to great outdoor activities and the beach access. So Daytona Beach is a stretch of 23 miles of hard packed sand. It does have drive-on beach access in certain areas. I can't think of a better way to spend the day, whether it's just you're having family and friends over, whatever it is. Load up the car, the truck, whatever you have, and come to the beach. So you pack up your fishing gear, the kids' toys, bring the grill, have yourself a day that you will probably remember for the rest of your life because you're hanging out at the beach with your family and friends. Definitely big memory makers right here for sure. The other thing, so if you're not a beach person, you don't like the sand, just, right around the corner from the beach is going to be the Intercoastal Waterway, the Halifax River. So if you're a boater, jet skier, kayaker, paddleboarder, whatever it is, if you're looking to be on the water, outdoors, Daytona Beach does have a tremendous amount of access for you to be able to go after for whatever it is that you're looking for. So again, kayaking, paddleboarding, surfing, we've got kiteboarders here. Whatever you can dream of, you can probably pretty much do it in Daytona Beach. Outside of that, if you're just looking to stay away from water in general, we do have really great access to some pretty cool state parks. The Tomoka State Park is going to be the closest one to Daytona Beach. Where the location in Daytona Beach is, you're going to be 20 minutes south from Ormond Beach, which has the loop. A lot of pretty trees, really great drive. It really gives you a good depiction of what old Florida used to be like. And then 20 minutes south, you've got the Smyrna Dunes Park, which is a really great boardwalk that you can go around, have access and views of the river, the beach. You can bring your dog. It is pet friendly at the Smyrna Dunes Park. You don't like any of that stuff. You just want to be in fresh water. Great news. 45 minutes from Daytona Beach, as you go west or inland into the state, you're going to find yourself in the cities of DeLand, Deltona, and Orange City area. DeLeon Springs as well. So you've got these 4 cities that are going to be just filled with natural springs and stays the same temperature year round. Absolutely beautiful. They do get jam-packed during the weekend, so that's a little mini con I'll throw in there. So if you're going there summertime or spring break, or just think peak season, peak times, it is going to be busy. You'll probably want to get there early, depending on what spring you're going to. Some are more popular than others, but pretty cool to be able to have access to all that stuff within a 45-minute drive. So, really big pro there, just the amount of activities that you have to do. So if you're an outdoor person, Daytona Beach definitely will keep you satisfied. So, talking about outdoors, you go and think about safety sometimes. Really should be thinking about safety all the time. So talking about safety, it is obviously a huge thing to be aware of and top of mind. And I'd like to go and talk about the safety of Daytona Beach. Let's talk about the crime rate. Let's just get right to it. Daytona Beach is higher on crime. So it is really going to depend though the neighborhood that you're in. That's why it's very important to do your homework. It is going to pay off in dividends. There's lots of great areas and there are lots of not so great areas. So it's very important to make sure that you know exactly where you are picking to make your residence. This is not unlike any other area in our nation or Florida. You go to Tampa, same thing, a lot of great areas in the next neighborhood. You're like, oh, are we in the same country? So let's talk about the con of the crime rate in Daytona Beach for a little bit. When you are thinking of any major city, I believe in the back of our minds, somehow, some way, we are inherently thinking about crime somehow. So Daytona Beach, Florida, unfortunately, we do have the stigmatism here of higher crime rates, but I really do believe that is with any major metropolitan area. If you think New York City, Detroit, LA, somewhere you're thinking about high crime rates. So it does really pay to do your own research. It absolutely pays to hire a local real estate professional. They should be able to help guide you on the good neighborhoods, the bad neighborhoods. And what I mean by that is just checking the local crime statistics. Not saying to, segment out any neighborhoods, but you are able to have access to police reports, see what the crime rates are. And the big pro tip here I really want you guys to think about is do your own research yourself as well. And if you find the perfect home, make sure that you go all different directions and routes to get to this home. So what I mean is if you're a real estate agent or you just drove in one way to the neighborhood and found this great home, make sure you're driving out the other way or however many entry exit points there are, because you want to see what the surrounding areas are looking like. You could have the most perfect home and right behind it starts out the worst neighborhood, or there's a railroad track or an airport or an industrial facility that makes concrete, who knows? So you want to really be able to make sure that you have a great understanding of what that neighborhood truly is, and more importantly, what the surrounding neighborhood is around that as well. So the other big tip I'd like to mention for you guys to do when you're looking to buy in an area that you're not familiar with is go there during different times of the day. So you want to go there at 8 o'clock in the morning, you want to go there at 8 o'clock at night, and you want to go there at probably 2 in the afternoon as well to just see, what the locals are like, what the neighborhood's like, who's out walking around, who's home, who's not home, that sort of thing. Those are going to be great indicators of what your life is going to be like when you actually move here. So there's nothing worse than thinking you find the perfect home, you move there, and 4 months later you found yourself in complete hell because you didn't check out the neighborhood more thoroughly than you should have. So yes, Daytona Beach does have higher crime rates, but these are going to vary from neighborhood to neighborhood. Also, something to keep in mind too, with the high tourism, it's just a lot of people coming in. So we tend to see crime rates spike during the more touristy times. There's just a lot more stuff going on. It's a little bit more chaotic. And if you're just staying away from the crowds and all the chaos, you're probably gonna find yourself okay. I've lived here my entire life, knock on wood, everything's always been great, but something to really keep in mind. Make sure you check your neighborhoods out. Yes, so safety is key, but for many, the reason why they choose to move and live in Daytona Beach, Florida is because of the city's non-stop calendar of events and entertainment throughout the entire year. So if you are looking for a city with a pulse, Daytona Beach delivers. So this is gonna be a huge pro, is all the events that they have throughout the year. So I know the con number one was about the traffic and the chaos of it all. If you can get over that, and if you don't care about any of that, this is going to be a huge pro for you. So, you know, it's one person hates something, one person loves it, and that's what makes the world go round and makes everything so beautiful. So for the pro, we already talked about the major events. We talked about the race week, bike week, spring break. And by the way, if you haven't been to a race week or bike week, even a spring break, more so bike week and race week, it is the best people watching you will ever experience in your entire life for free. And even if you had to pay to go, which I get, you know, you have got to pay to get into the racetrack and watch the race, you can still go hang out and not go inside and watch the race. You can tailgate and do all of this stuff for free. But you get what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of free entertainment out here. So definitely check that out. Even if it's not your thing, just go for a couple hours once in your life, check it off the list. Say you've been there, you've done that. Outside of all that, none of that's for you. Daytona Beach truly does have something to offer for everybody in the form of, you know, entertainment. They have the Daytona Beach band shell. If you're looking for live music, they have incredible talent that comes to the Daytona Beach band shell. It is right on the beach, right on the Atlantic Ocean. And these are free concerts that the city of Daytona Beach puts on. Now, some of them will be paid, but you don't have to pay if you don't want to. You can just find yourself along the sidewalls, I guess, and watch the concert for free. But if you did want the seats, sometimes they do have paid seats. Other than that, most of the time it's free. You've got the Daytona Beach Tortugas baseball team. You have the Daytona Beach Museum of Arts and Sciences. You have the Ponce Inlet Lighthouse. Daytona Beach Peabody Auditorium, which has acts from around the world that come and perform. I've seen Joe Coy there, Ron White, a couple stand-up comedians. They've got lots of music talent, plays, musicals, orchestras, the whole nine. So if you are looking to be entertained, Daytona Beach definitely has something for everybody. Speaking of everybody, do you know what everybody needs in Florida as a homeowner? And that is going to be property insurance. And right now, property insurance sucks in Florida. Really just insurance in general, I feel like sucks. I've never heard anybody say they've had a great experience with an insurance company or their insurance, whether it be health insurance or homeowners insurance. So it's just the deal, I guess. You just got to deal with it. And it's the price you pay to live in paradise. So if you have a loan on your home, you are required to have insurance. If you paid for your home cash or you just own the home outright, you're not required to have insurance. Big gamble you're taking. I don't know many people that don't pay insurance. I do know a few that own their home outright, but we always recommend to get it. We'd rather be safe than sorry, and the peace of mind that it gives you. So right now, Florida, a lot of the insurance carriers have left because of the recent hurricanes we've had. We still have insurance companies here. They're just difficult to work with. Again, I don't know any insurance company that's not. Their requirements to have insurance on your homes seem to continue to be going up and up, which in the long run, in the end game, you know, I think that's a good thing, because it's only benefiting you more as a homeowner in the long term. But in the short term, I really feel like it is hurting us. So some examples would be, if you've got a 20-year roof left and your roof is 12 years old, insurance companies are starting to kind of fight back a little bit and say you need to get a new roof, which I think is absolutely bogus. You've got another 8 years left on it, and that's why it's called a 20-year roof and not a 12-year roof, just in this example that I'm giving. So we have seen where we have had very difficult carriers wanting to really push, hey, you need a new roof. It's after half-life expectancy or whatever fancy insurance lingo term they want to use. So overall, point I'm trying to make, insurance, homeowners insurance in Florida is going to be more expensive. Here in Daytona Beach though, the cost of living is going to be a little bit lower as far as a home ownership goes, of purchasing that home. So it balances out a little bit depending on where you're coming from in the country. The other things that you're gonna have to consider as well is if you're buying a home in a flood zone. So a flood zone AE is definitely going to require flood insurance. It's gonna depend on the elevation of your home. Hiring a local real estate professional, they'll make sure that you get the correct elevation certificate to be able to provide to the insurance company to show them how, how highly elevated your home is within that floodplain. There are lots of homes that are outside of a flood zone. We still recommend getting flood insurance on homes that are outside of a flood zone. If you live in Florida, you just never know. Better be safe than sorry. But huge con overall, just insurance, the homeowners insurance in Florida. Like I said, it's terrible and it is more expensive, and you will have to be kind of bouncing, down the road with insurance carrier to insurance carrier as the age of your home increases and these insurance providers continue to change their policies and parameters on what they're willing to insure or not insure. So just be prepared that it is going to be a thorn in your side at some point of your Florida life of living here, dealing with insurance companies. If you've known me for any length of time, you know I'm a logistics guy. I hate leaving my triangle of convenience, which is about 15 minutes or so. If I've got to go outside that triangle, I'm not a happy camper. But Daytona Beach, to that point, I think really has a fantastic location in the terms of speaking logistics of coming and going and getting there and getting from. So Daytona is about an hour and a half south of Jacksonville. You're about an hour, 15 minutes to Orlando. So you can be thinking Orlando International Airport, Disney, Epic Universal that just opened, the Universal's new theme park, the SeaWorld, the Orlando Magic, lots of great things going on in Orlando. We're about 4.5 hours north of Miami, 20 minutes north of New Smyrna Beach. You're able to see the rockets go off from the Cape, which is about going to be an hour south of Daytona Beach. So, really a pretty cool location overall. You can get to pretty much anywhere pretty quickly. So if you are looking to move to Florida as kind of a hub to be bouncing around to different locations, if you're not able to move here full time and you're looking to snowbird it, Daytona Beach International Airport is there as well. I don't know how I forgot that one. That one's great. It's a great little airport, super easy to get in and out of. You will always have a connecting flight. A lot of the flights that I see connecting are going from Atlanta to, or another connecting flight at Charlotte. Atlanta and Charlotte are the two big connecting ones that I'm seeing in Daytona right now. But I've been told that you've got to connect to Atlanta even if you are going to hell. You got to stop in Atlanta before you get there. So there's just no getting through Atlanta. But Daytona Beach really is a great little airport to get in and out of. And just overall with the events that Daytona Beach has and you being able to have access to other parts of Florida pretty easily, pretty quickly, Daytona Beach, huge pro for me on this one. So just kind of talking about that, I'd like to kind of melt in the pro of the logistics of Daytona to the events that we have. And this isn't really a pro or a con. This is more of an observation that I would have. And I think it's definitely noteworthy if you are considering moving to the Daytona Beach area. And that is going to be that we don't really have a whole lot of high-end amenities right now. I could probably comfortably say we have less than 5 or maybe right around 5 high-end restaurants. We do have some cool restaurants, but if you're looking for like really super duper fancy, if you're looking for Miami, Fort Lauderdale, New York City, Michelin star type places, we really don't have those. Again, probably around 5-ish fancy restaurants. And when I say fancy, I mean like really kind of high-end restaurants. I mean, you'll probably, like if you went on a dinner date for two, you could probably hit 300, 400 bucks pretty easy, depending if you're drinking wine and that sort of thing. So I guess that's kind of my barometer on a high-end amenity on how much you're spending to go there. And then just talking about other high-end amenities like spas and retreats and things like that. We've got some nice places, but I think they do pale in comparison if you are expecting the, like I said, the Miami, the Naples, Boca Raton, like that kind of higher end amenity. I would say you need to go somewhere else, and Daytona Beach isn't for you. If you're just looking to come here and have fun, great, but high-end amenities, not right now. With that being said, Daytona Beach is in a growth period right now. I think there is a lot of buzz and a lot of great things in the works. I think there's a lot of developers and investors that have seen the opportunity that Daytona Beach has. And I think people are starting to take action and put a lot of money in Daytona. So I would be forecasting within the next 5 to 10 years that we would probably start to be getting a lot more higher end amenities. Daytona Beach is scheduled to be getting a Trader Joe's in the town. So big win for Daytona. We've been rooting for that one for a long time. So, I know Trader Joe's isn't really a high end amenity, compared to the scale what we've been talking with, but just to kind of show you that Daytona is moving in the right direction. I know Brown & Brown insurance companies, they have a headquarters in Daytona Beach on Beach Street. They've dumped a ton of money into to really beautify it. And I really think the powers that be are wanting to make Daytona Beach really a go-to destination, make it a nice, clean, fun place to be at, and have a lot more to offer to people that are looking for those higher end things. You've got a lot of big communities out here right now. You've got Margaritaville. So if you're looking to have that kind of Margaritaville lifestyle, all-inclusive type deal, there's communities like that. We're starting to see higher end communities come up as well with these new builds, new development communities. So a lot of good things happening. I just think it's going to be a little bit of time, 5 to 10 years out. So if you are looking to be here, it's kind of getting in, I don't want to say the ground floor, but we haven't really shot up yet. So there's still a chance to get in before I think Daytona Beach really explodes. If living in Daytona Beach with its unique energy and coastal charm sounds like it's going to be the right fit for you, then the next step is going to be finding the perfect spot for you and the family. So I help people navigate this market every day, from lively beachside homes to all the way into the quieter inland areas as well. If you want to talk about what your needs are and see what's available, please reach out to me. You can email me, my email is below. You can call or text, whatever is easier for you. The number does go directly to me. I do lively pick up. It's not going to some call center, it's actually me. And if you are undecided about living in New Smyrna Beach or Daytona Beach, we did a video on that, the pros and cons of living in New Smyrna versus Daytona Beach. So check out that video below so you can see what that's all about. Let us know what we can do for you, and we look forward to seeing you next week's video.